What's going on, everybody? It's Apex. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my guy.
I'm audisea. I'm a producer and I've been working with Caleb for a couple years now.
And today we have a very special treat for you. We are going to be giving you our predictions for Spotify Wrapped and our Apple Replay playlist, also known as our top 100 most streamed songs this year. Real quick, I just want to thank everyone for all the support the last couple weeks. The views, the likes, the subs have been crazy. And you guys are the best. I just wanted to let you know that. If you're new here, consider subscribing at the end of the video. Consider hitting the like button. It helps the channel grow a lot. Without further ado, let's get into it. As a special bonus treat, at the end of this video, we're going to sit here. Neither one of us have looked at our actual playlist from Spotify or Apple. And we're going to give you a live reaction so you can see how many we got right and we can see how many we got wrong. So I'm really excited for that portion of the video. Stay tuned for that. So we were debating on how to structure this, and we decided that the easiest way for you guys would be if we go artist by artist up until the point where we're past, what, the 5-song mark I think is a good place?
Yeah.
And then we'll just go 5 at a time from there on out.
For my top 100 this year, there's one album. I think it's a 13-song album. The 13 songs on this album will probably be the top 13 songs on my playlist. That album is called Colorblind. It's by an artist named Pluko, and he does some really interesting electronic music. It's a bit hard to put in a genre, but as like a really overlapping thing, he's kind of future based. So the songs on Colorblind, the number one I think is probably the song Go. It's the first song on the album, and I think it's the number one song for me just because I normally listen to the album in order, but I didn't always finish it. So I know I always listen to Go every single time. And the other one that I would pull up a lot, the song called Used To, featuring cassette tapes. So that's 13 songs from me.
Beautiful. Any more Pluko, or was that it for this year?
There is another EP, but I'll talk about that later because it came out very recently. Okay. So I'm not sure if it quite made it to my top 100 because it came out so recently.
Okay, well then I better get started on my list now that Damon has his first 13 out of the way. And to no one's surprise, the first artist on here is none other than Taylor Swift. It was a Taylor Swift year for me, I'll put it that way. When I first wrote this list, 20 out of my first 22 songs were Taylor Swift. Had to edit it down a little bit. So the songs that ended up making this playlist are Cruel Summer, Lover, The Man, The Archer, Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, Cornelia Street, Death by a Thousand Cuts, and Daylight. Those are 8 off of her Lover album. Very underrated album.
All great
Super
songs
underrated.
too, by the way. Great songs.
For sure. And then the rest, Delicate, Getaway Car, King of My Heart, all from Reputation. There's a small patch in Reputation, which is probably her worst album, let's be real.
It's my least favorite.
Where it's actually really good stuff, and we'll get into that. I'm sure we'll talk a ton more about Taylor Swift on this channel, but those 3 ended up making it. And then we have quite a few songs from Folklore, which came out in July. The One, XCII, The Last Great American Dynasty, 7 in August, all ended up making it past the editing stage. I had, I think, double that. I don't know if I listened enough compared to all the other music I listened to this year. So I ended up just going with those 16 Taylor Swift songs. Not too bad, right?
No, I think that's pretty good. Alright, I'll go next. The second top artist, Son Holo. I put his album from 2019, just titled Album 1, and there's 12 songs on there. The number one song I think I would have listened to on that one is called Surface, featuring Caspian. But the rest of the songs are Everything Matters When It Comes to You, Lift Me From the Ground, featuring Sophie Winters, Show Me, Brighter Days with Bipolar Sunshine, Always on My Mind, Go Back in Time, Love, Work in Progress, featuring Cassini, Voices in My Head, featuring the Nicholas, Worthy, Forever Free with Duskus, the last song on the album, Vestal Avenue. So that's another 12 from me.
That brings you to 25.
Yes, it does.
Quick math. Second album, my second artist will be none other than KB, who dropped his highly anticipated album, His Glory Alone. Side note, when this album dropped, I'm 99% sure it was listed as HGA. And then, like, I don't know if it was a branding thing or what, but it got relisted as His Glory Alone.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm tripping. Here are the songs from the album that made my list this year. 10K, Let It Rain, This Is Life, Armies, Masterpiece, Libre, Yes Song, and The Name. That's 8 songs, I think, right? That's 8 songs?
I think so, yeah.
Out of the 12 songs on the album. So that's a pretty good album replay value.
Yeah.
The other songs that didn't make it weren't because I didn't like them. It's just these are the ones that I listened to the most. This was a really solid album for KB. Very highly produced, and I definitely recommend everyone go listen to it.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the songs that you've showed. So my next artist it's only 4 songs from this artist actually, but
This is a really good artist.
I'm just very confident that they're in my top 100. Behind these 2 other artists, it's probably the person I've listened to the most. It's this guy named Apex Frazier. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No, but he's got a dope name. I really like it.
He really does.
Yeah.
He released 4 singles this year.
All home runs.
Yep. Wolves, So Fast, A Letter Back Home, and Nothing to Lose. I am very confident that all of these are in my top 100. Maybe not Wolves, just because it was released so recently.
Yeah.
But I would still be surprised. I streamed it a lot when it came out, and I'm not ashamed of it. No,
it's a good song.
I listen to stuff that I've worked on. I think that artists need to normalize listening to their own music, you know? So,
absolutely, my friend.
Yeah.
100%. So what does that put you at for the total? 29?
29, yeah.
Nice. So let's move on to my next artist, who also only has 4 songs on here. There was more before I edited it down. He dropped his album all the way back in April. Feels like 3 years ago. But it's Ty Brazel. The 4 songs that made it from his project are Paid For It, To the West Side, Highlight, and The Power featuring KB. All really good songs. Shout out to RG, 1K Few, who were featured on it as well. J-Way, and I forget who sings the chorus of Paid For It. But really good songs, good album it's just a good year from Ty, honestly.
Another big album that came out that I listened to, not a big album, but a big album for me that came out this year that I really enjoyed listening to a lot. Peter by Lido. Awesome songs. Definitely the ones I listened to the most on this album are Rise, Group Text featuring Ebenezer, Layaway, How to Do Nothing, and Post Club Ride Home Music. But I listened to the whole album so much as well that I'm pretty sure the whole thing's on there.
I should have mentioned off the top, the hardest part of making this list for me, editing it down to 100. I had like 135 songs at one point on this list.
Really?
Yeah. There's these albums that I listened to a lot this year, but I had to choose the songs off of it that I listened to the most.
Yeah.
Because if there's one thing that I do, it's listen to music all the time.
Yeah.
So my next artist, having said that, is Lecrae, who dropped his album Restoration this year. And some of the songs that made it for me are Wheels Up, Self-Discovery, Deep End, Drown, Sunday Morning, Zombie, Only Human. Those are the 7 out of the 14 songs. Was it 14? Yeah, 14 songs on that album that made it for me. Good project. Couple skips, to be honest.
Yeah.
But those 7 songs are really hard. They go super crazy with the production, the lyricism. Really good year for Lecrae, even though he's like 97.
I listened to that Lecrae album a couple times, and like the songs that were good on it were some of my favorite Lecrae songs, like Zombie.
Yeah.
Such a jam. Such a good song.
Really good song.
Really fun song. The next artist for me, Quinn, 92.
What a guy.
Super, super awesome. Just like, you can't help but smile when you listen to his music.
Good
type
vibes.
thing,
He's a
right?
good vibes.
Yeah. He released a new album this year called A Letter to My Younger Self. It had 12 songs on it. Some of the singles came out
Last year.
Yeah. And I was listening to them for quite a while. Standouts from that album for me, Stacy. That was the first single that released.
Came out like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it was a summer jam for me last summer, I think. Yeah. I really liked Notice Me. That wasn't a single, but it was a great song.
Oh, that's one of the best songs on the project.
More Than Friends, and
that's another one.
And Mad at Me were also great.
That's another one.
And then I really liked 210s. That was another one of the singles. But I'm pretty sure the whole album will be on my top 100, so that's another 12.
Very solid. Good album. I don't think it's on my list, though. There's a couple songs from Quinn on my list that I edited out.
Yeah.
So my next artist originally had a lot more songs, but then I had to bring it down to just 2. R.I.P. Mac Miller. He dropped a posthumous album early this year. Incredible. The best one I've ever heard personally. You could tell that they handled it with a lot of care, a lot of dedication was put into this project. It wasn't just a money grab. It was truly to honor him. Having said that, I only have one song from that album on here, and that's Good News, which was the single. There were like 4 more songs on there, but I had to take them out. And then from his album before, which is Swimming, Jet Fuel, one of my favorite songs that's dropped in the last several years. It's always an easy listen and a fun listen. So R.I.P. Mac Miller. Still very upset about everything that happened there.
Mac was actually on my list too. 2 songs. Good News was on my list as well. And the other one was Blue World.
Yeah, Blue World I had on here and took it off.
I think Blue World is the one I've listened to from him the most this year. That song is so cool.
So good.
But just that entire project is amazing. I can't believe how well they handled that whole thing. It was great.
So I guess that leads back to me. And this is an artist that we both listened to a ton this year. That would be Lupe Fiasco and his project from 2018, Dragus Wave. Was that 2018?
2018.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
And just in order of what I have written down here, Dragos, which is a fire intro. Manila, fire song.
Awesome song.
Goldverse, The Right Thing to Do. Wave Files.
Yeah.
Down. Haile Selassie's, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Allen Forever, Stronger, Sun God Sam and the California Drug Deal, XO, Janilla Forever, Kingdom, Imagine, Stack That Cheese, and King Nas, bringing me to a total of 52.
I listened to that album a bit. I did listen to that album quite a bit because of things we were working on, but I don't think any of them made my top 100. I wouldn't be surprised if we go through and there are some of them, like because we did all that with the listening to it, that I haven't gone back to listen to it in my downtime.
Right. Whereas for me, I listened to it a lot before we decided to listen to it together. So definitely made my list, and I guess we'll see if it made yours in a few minutes here.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you stick around. The next one I have for like an artist that has a good handful, Bleachers, which is a solo project for Jack Antonoff. He was the guitarist from Fun. Now he produces stuff for a ton of people. Has produced a bunch of those Taylor Swift songs that he talked about earlier. 5 songs here from him that will have made my top 100 this year. Hate That You Know Me. Don't Take the Money. Everybody Lost Somebody. Wild Heart and Roller Coaster. Definitely were all in my top 100 this year.
Yeah, he has some good music. I went through and listened to all of his stuff on your recommendation. Yeah. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah. Just introduced a friend of mine to Bleacher, I guess I should call it Bleacher, last week. Actually.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Alright, next up for me, my favorite artist, Mr. Beautiful Mind himself. Yeah. Oh, you can't see it. Dang it. Whatever. John Bellion has not dropped music in 2 years now, aside from his feature Good Things Fall Apart and his song Crop Circles. neither of which are on here. 5 that did end up making it after the 10 that I had to edit down are Stupid Deep, the acoustic version of Blue, The Internet, Cautionary Tales, and Conversations with My Wife. You know what I just noticed?
What?
Nothing from The Human Condition.
Really?
Really? Has it been that long? Or, I don't know. I bet you that there'll probably be like 1 or 2 songs that sneak into the actual playlist.
I was debating putting Bellion on my list for so long. If he had dropped any sort of major project this year, that entire project would be on my top 100, I guarantee it. It's I think it's just been so long since The Human Condition. And I mean, I love Glory Sound Prep as well, but it didn't hit me the same way that The Human Condition did.
Right.
So, 2 years for Glory Sound Prep and 4 years for The Human Condition.
Yeah.
They're not as heavy in my rotation anymore, but one of my favorite artists.
Yeah, definitely.
So good.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I accidentally spent just an unholy amount of money on The Human Condition socks this past week. I don't know how it happened. Someone was selling it on Facebook. I paid for it, right? So the socks were a set amount. Then the shipping from the US was basically the same amount as the socks. Then the conversion fee on PayPal.
Yeah.
So it ended up being the most expensive pair of socks I've ever bought. But I've been wanting them for like 3 years now. So I'm gonna justify it as a Christmas present to myself and be happy with it.
Did you send us a snap in the group chat
Yeah, I
about
did.
that? Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, when you go to buy John Bellion socks, but you can't, and then you can, and then it's super expensive.
My next artist, their name's Louis the Child. They're an electronic duo. So 4 songs from their album, I think are gonna make it on my top 100. Big Love, featuring Earth Gang. Little Things with Quinn 92, Chelsea Cutler, and he's not credited, but John Bellion's on the track too.
Yeah, I was gonna say they also have quite a bit of experience with Bellion.
Yeah, they kind of run in the same circles as that like Chelsea, Quinn, Bellion, Jeremy Zucker type crowd. And then we have Dreams with K Flay and Free featuring Drew Love.
What does that bring your total to?
I've lost track.
I have too, but don't worry guys. Post recording me has already edited the totals right here. I'll put them on the screen for you to see because I'm that nice.
And I make it that much harder for him.
Yeah. Hey. Alright, next for me, another one of my all-time favorite artists. No one should be surprised that he's on here. Mr. Kanye West. This year, especially the first half of the year, I was listening to a lot of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy to get some production stuff just going in my head. So we have Runaway and Power from that project. Good Morning from Graduation. Street Lights from 808s, and then Ultralight Beam from The Life of Pablo. I'm anxious to see if more Kanye ends up making my list. When J.I.K. first dropped last October, I listened quite a bit, but that's definitely the Kanye album that doesn't have the same amount of replay value.
Yeah.
And I think every Kanye fan agrees on that.
Yeah.
But since it was only a couple months into last year, before the new year,
It might have spilled over.
In. Yeah, maybe a song with clips snuck in. So we'll see.
I have another project that I listened to a ton, especially at the beginning of this year when I was living back in Hamilton. I'd listen to this album just on repeat. Actually, it's an EP. It's called Telescope by Tennyson. They're a Canadian electronic duo. It's got 6 songs on it.
So the last major artist for me, Kendrick Lamar, who hasn't dropped music, it's been longer than Bellion. So Kendrick songs Money Trees, before TikTok killed it, DNA, Yeah, Lust, Fear, XXX, Duckworth, and that's it. There was a lot more. I had a lot more Kendrick on here.
Yeah, I can imagine.
A lot of me listening to Kendrick was last year going into this year. I wasn't really sure what was going to be on here or not. So I figured that's a decent amount of Kendrick songs to throw on here.
So the last artist that I think I'm going to touch on, talked about him right at the beginning, Pluko, on top of dropping that album this year, Colorblind, he also dropped a companion EP. This EP is called Baby Blue. It has 6 songs on it, and it's super similar in style to Colorblind, so it was right up my alley. I really enjoyed all the songs off of it. So to kind of go through and wrap up the last couple ones where it's just artists that had, you know, one or maybe a couple or a handful of songs from kind of all over the place that weren't in a specific project for me. There was a single from Alice in Wonderland, a cool song, it's called Bad Things. The Charlie Puth song, Mother, super underground electronic artist. I think they're a duo named Landon, and this is the only song they've ever released as far as I know. It came out this year. It's called Make It Easy. When it dropped, I was blown away that these guys weren't some already huge established like electronic group. 2 songs from Weathen, who dropped his debut album this year.
Weathen.
Hurting on Purpose featuring K Flay, and All in My Head featuring Grandson. And then to round things out, one of my favorite electronic artists of all time. I come back to his stuff super often. He released a song this year called The Difference, Rushing Back, featuring Vera Blue. 2 of his songs from his 2016 album. One of the songs is 3, and the other song is Take a Chance.
Okay, so for me, just to speed things up, I have 4 Dilly songs on here. Shout out Dilly. The Dilly songs that I have on here are Parabolic, Sticks, Catch Up, and MC Hammer. I did have more. I had to cut them out. Next up, I have one of my favorite artists, Apex Frazier. He dropped a string of singles this year to get everyone hyped for next year. His first single dropped in April, Nothing to Lose. Then we had A Letter Back Home. Then So Fast, all produced by some guy named Odyssey.
Whoever that is.
Whoever that is. He also dropped Wolves. I don't think it's on my list to be honest, but it might be. Next I have a few songs from Mr. Aha Gazelle, Balloons, Take the Lead, and God Said Yes, all dropped relatively recently. Then we have a couple Chance songs, 14,400. Is it that or is it 14,400 minutes? I don't know, I just wrote it down off of memory. Then All Day Long, then Do You Remember? I wasn't sure, I don't think there's any more Chance songs on there, but there might be. I have a couple Drake songs, No Tellin' and 10 Bands. Then I have Other Side by Holvey, shout out Holvey. He dropped a lot of great music this year. I didn't get into him till late. Then I have a few J. Cole songs. There's a lot of noise right now.
Yeah.
Middle Child, Saint Tropez, Folding Clothes, and Apparently. All from like different era J. Cole, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have Rate Us by Jay Gibbons. Then I have Everybody Wants You by Red Hearst.
You listen to that one a lot?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
I'm glad you like that project.
Good project. Yeah,
it's cool.
That's the standout for me.
Yeah.
Just as far as like it's really easy to listen to. Next, I have a couple Taylor Bennett songs. I have 3 actually: New York Nights, Grown Up Fairy Tales, and Broad Shoulders. 2 of which feature Chance. Then I have some RG songs, Exit 104, Freeze, Too Much, all really good. I did have a lot more RG, had to edit it off, we'll see.
Yeah.
Then I have Clouds by Tripoli, How Did We Get Here by Propaganda, and Sacrifices by Dreamville to round out my top 100.
I've been a fan of Scott Helman since he dropped his last album. Hotel de Ville, which I think came out in 2017 or 2018 or something. He dropped a new album this year. It's actually only the first half of the album that got dropped. It's Non-Such Park, side A. And there's 11 songs, including all the interludes and everything, on that album. But I listened to it so much that I think all of them made it. I listened to it in the car a ton when it first dropped. There's definitely a few standouts. Good Problems is fun. I loved Afraid of America, Everything Sucks, True Crime. I loved all of the songs.
Okay, moment of truth, live reaction. How many did we get right? You want to start us off?
With mine?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, my first like bunch of songs are all off that Pluko album.
Yeah.
The top 2 are actually Go and Used To, which I thought would be the 2 that I listen to the most. There's a couple songs that made it in before we get through all those Pluko songs. A couple San Holo songs, Everything Matters, Show Me, Lift Me From the Ground, some of that Tennyson stuff that I was talking about.
Have you seen a song that wasn't on your list yet?
Nope. Here's the first one that I found that wasn't on my list. Be There For You by Duskus. Totally forgot about that in retrospect EP. Super cool. Followed right up by another one that I didn't realize was going to be on there. Clean by Underscores from the Character Development EP. Also something I listened to a ton of, but totally forgot about. A Chelsea Cutler song, Sad Tonight, that actually surprised me a lot. Oceanized by Billie Eilish made my top 100. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's number 48 for me.
That, I know you like Billie, but that was not the song I expected to be on there.
That's my favorite song by her.
Really?
I like her debut album like way better than anything she's released afterwards. Like, don't get me wrong.
That's from her EP.
Yeah, it's not listed as an EP on Apple Music, so I didn't know if it was an album.
Oh, really?
Or EP. Yeah. But like, don't get me wrong, I love If We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? Or When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? But her first project was great.
First project more too.
3 Nights by Dominic Fike. I didn't even think about that.
That's probably on my list too. Didn't think about it.
A Flume song that I didn't realize would make it, Helix. More Duskus, Can't Stand the Feeling. More Chelsea Cutler.
Dang.
Strangers Again. Some Drolo, A Written Maze. That's a really good song. I totally forgot about Drolo. The Killers. All These Things That I've Done.
Really?
Yeah, wow. Forever and Evermore by Nothing But Thieves. It's like the only song I know by them. So Fast. That made it. I think Wolves, or one of the other ones, I think A Letter Back Home was up there somewhere.
Well, at the end, I'll put the numbers of how many each of us missed.
Okay. Yeah. Part-Time Lover I missed by Gavin.
So far, my top 20 songs, we have some Apex, some KB, Aha, Chance. So it is 14,400 minutes. I forgot the minutes part, but that's excusable. So far, all of these songs were on my list. Did I nail my list or what? Keep Going by Aha.
Once a Day by Mac Miller wasn't on your list.
Okay, so I did have it. So that was on there originally. So is Keep Going. Those I should have kept. Ain't This Life Perfect by Belief. I missed that one. That's always on there. I should have known. No Stain by Aha. Did I say that?
I don't remember what Aha songs you said.
No Stain by Aha. Should have definitely gotten that one though. Was apparently it was on my list.
It
right?
was, yeah.
Revenge of the South.
No way.
Revenge of the South. A bop. A great song. Aquafina by What Up RG. Ho Hey by the Lumineers. Good Thing Go by Quinn. Missed all those. A Lot by 21 Savage.
Really?
Really just because I play the J. Cole verse all the time. Pretty Little Fears by Black for the same exact reason. Shout out J. Cole. Radioactive remix featuring Kendrick Lamar. I didn't think that'd be on here this year. It was on there last year. I love the Kendrick verse. Useless Gospel featuring Clips is on here. I was right. So
yeah.
It did sneak in there.
Wow.
Close by Nobigdyl. When I Die by Quinn.
Friends by Andy Mineo. Yeah, that's a good song.
Crop Circles by
Crop Circles
John
made
Bellion.
it.
Yeah. I had that on there originally and took it off. Coffee for Two by Sam Stan. The Feeling by Justin Bieber. I had that on there and took it off. 80s Films by John Bellion.
Such a good song.
Circles by Post Malone. I didn't expect that.
No way.
Suicide Net by Nobigdyl.
Oh, did you have JT on
I
there?
didn't have JT on there.
Yeah.
I did originally, took it off. JT by John Bellion. Problems by Jet Trouble. Don't Nobody Own Us by KB.
Wow.
So, there's a few. There's quite a few there. I put the totals that each one of us missed there at the end. But, like I expected, most of the songs that I missed were from artists that I had on here. And a lot of the songs I originally had on my top, like 130, and edited out. So, overall, I think we did a pretty freaking good job.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new, remember to hit that subscribe button. Helps the channel grow a ton. You can find Odyssey's socials in the description. Whew. We've been recording this for like 50 minutes. And you can find my stuff in the description as well. Peace.